Baltimore's leading the way at 7-2, but which of the teams, Jenks, do you think will come up short when it comes to the playoffs? The Steelers, the Browns, or the Bengals?
It's the Browns. It is the Browns for two reasons. Number one, karma. All right? Karma is not going to be good to the Browns. You signed Deshaun Watson, and you made a pact with the devil. And the devil says, all right, you can have a quarterback, but you're not making the playoffs. I just don't think they're a good team. They have a great defense, but I believe in – I can't believe I'm going to say this. I think the Ravens are obvious. The Bengals are obvious. So really, you're talking about a two-team race as to which team is going to be left out, right? And I trust a Pittsburgh team and Mike Tomlin who will find a way to win ugly, and it won't be great, but this is what they do each and every single year. And you can say it's a tired narrative, and I'm tired of hearing about how Mike Tomlin never has a losing record, but guess what? He just doesn't. This is what he does. The Steelers have been outscored all season long. They've been outgained all season long, and they're sitting here at 5-3. You know what that is? That is coaching. And I will take a tried and true head coach who has done this before over a Cleveland team that is banged up and a quarterback that I do not trust. So I'm leaving the Brownies out.
Yeah, I think you could argue for either the Browns or the Steelers. If you look at net points, neither of these teams are very good, but you got to look at the Steelers here. Their net points right now, minus 30 compared to the Ravens, positive 115. Even if the Steelers make it to the postseason, what do we think their ceiling really is? The only thing I can see happening is if, perchance, we get a first-round matchup with the Steelers as a wild card and the Ravens. I would imagine they probably get a first-round bye, but if there is some scenario in which the Steelers play the Ravens, that is one that I would be interested in, because that's the only scenario in which I see the Steelers actually making waves in the postseason is if they get to play a divisional foe. And we know that those games between the Steelers and Ravens are always very close. But I don't know. I feel like both the Steelers and the Browns, neither of these teams I'm super interested in the long run. But yeah, I think I would agree with you, even though nobody's looking at the Steelers and saying, yeah, this is a playoff team. Like, I guess. Let's talk about Will Levis, because me as a Titans fan, I'm pretty excited for the future of our offense because Will Levis can spin it a little bit. He can at least, give us a chance on offense. So now we have the Titans going on the road to the Tampa Bay Bucks, who have looked very middling this year. So this is your survivor pick. So clearly you have a pretty strong take on either Will Levis or my Titans.
I sure do. I like the Titans here very much because even if I had never heard of Will Levis before, this is a head turner for a rookie quarterback to pull off performances. I know they did not win his second start, but he looked pretty good. He has looked very good through these first two starts. And I would say if he performs like that again this week, has a great game, I would not say it's out of the question looking at his rookie of the year odds, perhaps to shorten or maybe just get in on those because he looks phenomenal. And I'm not going to say he's the next Tom Brady, but I'm not going to say I haven't thought about it because before the season, all of the draftees, they had them watching the football players that they grew up watching. Do a video for them and speak to them. And Tom Brady was Will Levis's player. And Tom Brady said as you drop down in the draft, let that fuel you through your career. And clearly Will Levis has a chip on his shoulder because of how far he dropped in the draft. And he wants to make every team that did not select him higher sorry for not doing that. And that's what Tom Brady did his whole career. That was on his shoulder his whole career because throughout his career, he's posting the picture of him at the combine. He's 199 he uses in his businesses. That is his fuel and fueled him through it. So I think Will Levis, it's the same thing. He's looking at that and he wants to go out there and show everybody who passed up on him that they should not have and make them feel sorry for it. And I feel like some teams are feeling like that. They're like, oh, we should have picked Will Levis, and that's what he's trying to do. So I really like the Titans here. I trust Will Levis in this spot.
Yeah, let's go. Even if I don't take the Titans outright, and I will say this line has moved. It was the Titans getting 1.5. Now it's down to 1. So clearly, Lucy, some people on your sides. I will be taking a long, hard look at Will Levis's passing prop because the guy, like I said, He can spin it.
One thing we're not talking about, I know we assume that Florida State is going to win out because they have been the class of the ACC. But one team we are not talking about at all in the ACC is Louisville. And Louisville has one loss on the season. And Louisville has gotten really good, and Jeff Brom has really brought that team together. They have a single loss. And if they meet Florida State in the ACC championship game, that is a game that Florida State could absolutely lose. I don't think they will, but they will get a much more stern challenge than they've gotten all season long. If you think about, we thought it was Clemson. We thought Clemson was the team. Well, Clemson's okay this year. They're very mediocre. So Florida State will have a real task, a real challenge when they face Louisville, if they face Louisville. And if that happens, if Florida State loses, then that's your path for maybe Texas getting in. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I don't see a scenario, barring an upset this week, and where maybe Ole Miss beats Georgia or something like that, where the SEC gets left out of the top four.
Oh, no. I think somebody's probably going to be putting Georgia in, at least. Like, even if they lose out, I don't know. I am rooting for chaos, though, because there is so many things and so many scenarios that can still happen to where these rankings this week won't even matter at all. So I am hoping for chaos because I don't have a dog in the fight. So I'm just rooting for chaos.
I'm hoping for chaos, too, because I need chaos for my Longhorns to get in.
The Bulldogs laying 3.5 at home here. Who do you like? What's the play?
I like the Bulldogs in this one. This line has moved down. I actually took Mississippi State yesterday at 4. It's moved down to 3.5. So I'm on the wrong side of this right now. But Mississippi State's one of the few teams in the nation that's returning their top 5 scorers. That includes Toulouse Smith, 6'11". He was just named to the Naismith watch list, first team preseason, all SEC rather. I think he's just going to dominate inside in this one because Arizona State just lost their 7-footer Warren Washington. So the paint's going to open up for Smith a little bit more. Bulldogs, their core returns, and that means their defense from last year as well. They ranked 9th in defensive efficiency last season. And Arizona State, they lost their top 4 scorers, actually. So you have a great defense in Mississippi State going up against an Arizona State whose offense is pretty much no longer there. First game of the season. My husband was also out to dinner last night. Bobby Hurley was at the table over from him.
Oh, wow.
Bobby Hurley, I mean, hey, maybe he had one too many glasses of wine. He's not looking like he's focused on this game right now. Coaches are allowed to go out and have some fun. But I'm just going to, throw that in there, use that a little bit of my handicap.
Oh, I love that. This guy doesn't look like he's focused right now. Hey, whatever it takes to handicap, Kate, I'm all for it. What else do you have tonight? I really like this pick, and I think I'm going to tell you on it. We got FAU and Loyola of Chicago.
Yes, I love FAU. If we remember last year, they were the Cinderella story, made it to the Final Four. FAU returns all 5 starters and most of their key reserves. They only lost one of their, major reserve players. The Owls backcourt, one of the best in the country. You have Elijah Martin and Jonell Davis. Both of those players declared for the draft, but they're coming back. So that tells you kind of how talented they are. And this line has moved in favor of Florida Atlantic. Opened at 4.5, already up to 5.5. I've seen some 6s in some places. So if you like this, I would jump on it now. I think this number is just a little too short, especially since Loyola Chicago 22-38 against the spread under Drew Valentine. They really have not been great. They do have a fairly experienced team with a bunch of upperclassmen, but I don't think that's going to be able to compete with this Florida Atlantic team that wants to make a statement once again this year and prove that last year's Final Four run wasn't just a fluke. So I'm laying the points with the Owls.